What are the responsibilities of the lawyer and the law firm in the marketing?
Over the years, it became there's no way to grow the firm unless you market.
Do you think you have any obligation to provide some sort of public service message with the advertising, or should the advertising be strictly your attempt to solicit business?
The fact is, the only way to have people know who you are is to make them informed. I'm Tom Morgan with the Morgan Law Group, and in this episode of Trial and Error, I speak with my father about marketing and advertising, how it's changed over the years, how it's perceived, and where is it going. Check us out.
Well, you seem to be saying two things simultaneously, constantly, and that is practicing law and providing a service to the client, and new markets and marketing. We didn't talk marketing when I first started practice. And then when advertising came in, we really weren't sure what it was. And a lot of lawyers didn't like it because we thought word of mouth was the way people should find lawyers. And then, of course, lawyers made a lot of money by having the back page of the yellow pages. Right. We don't even, people who are probably listening to this today don't know what a yellow pages is, okay? But it sounds like marketing is as much a problem, a vice, and a good thing, and a responsibility that you have as it is to providing the service and the expertise and the proper lawyering to the client. How do you do both of those and balance them? And is one more important than the other?
Well, first, growing up, I remember we looked down on anybody that advertised. That was just that. There was who's the lawyer?
People got disbarred. People got disbarred for advertising when I first started.
But I remember being, before I was a lawyer, there was the ad lawyer. I think it was Cohen. The light's always on.
Oh, yes, I remember that. He had seats behind us in the Orange Bowl.
Right, sat behind us at the college football games. So, and we joked about it, but clearly he was probably benefiting greatly, and everybody else was disdained for advertising and marketing. And really, I guess I grew up with that perception of I don't want to be advertising, I don't want to be marketing. And over the years, it became there's no way to grow the firm unless you market. And part of that was people don't know that we do what we do unless you inform them.
I was just about to say, unlike my day when I practiced more, there's no way to get the information to them, especially in property law, if you don't market. So it seems to me that you can't undertake that area of practice if you haven't also acknowledged and agreed with yourself that you will devote some amount of time to marketing, because nobody will know you're there.
Right. We, for the longest time, did no marketing to the general public. Maybe I did some events here or there where we sponsored, but we were really not doing, I wasn't doing TV or radio or even, online marketing up until just a few years back. And the fact is, the only way to have people know who you are is to make them informed, is put it out there and let them know. But especially when it comes to doing property claims, it was, hey, we're in this market, and an event like a hurricane would happen, and every lawyer would suddenly say, I do hurricane damage. And they didn't really do them. They were personal injury lawyers or family law lawyers. And they just said, well, we're going to sign these people up, and they're easy cases, right? And then what would happen is we would start to get the cases months later from these lawyers or from the clients. And they'd say, hey, I'm not getting this claim paid. What do I do? And it'd be screwed up, or there'd be something done wrong. And so at that point we said, we need to start marketing and making people aware of that what we do is specific to this market and this area of practice, so that they're hiring us first.
What are the responsibilities, though, of the lawyer and the law firm in the marketing? In banking, we have laws, truth in lending, okay? Right. So there's certain things the bank has to put out, and many would say they get around it by having so many pages of small print and asking you to sign at the bottom of the third page. And who's going to sit there and read all of that print that you need a magnifying glass for? Well, are lawyers doing the same thing with their advertising when, they puff up their biceps and say that they win every case or something?
Look, there's a lot of that. As a lawyer, when you're looking at other lawyers' ads, it's a different perception than the general public, right? Everybody's winning cases left and right on TV. Their ads are telling you how, they just won. But the reality is that may be their only win for the year for some firms. I tried cases. Did they really try the case, or did they have another lawyer coming in and try the case with them and they're just a tag along? So, but most people aren't going to investigate or ask those questions. I think it's important to some degree that you're giving a true representation of your firm through the ads, or in some aspect giving a message so that people are informed and have a decision as to why they like you or don't like you.
Where can people find the Morgan Law Group ads?
Well, we're right now we do some TV. We're getting ready to roll out a new marketing campaign, which will probably hopefully be seen a lot more. But a lot of our stuff is online.
What are you trying to get across to the viewer? Say if it's something they're watching on TV versus something that they see in print. What is it that you're trying to convey to them?
Well, I think our messaging in the past has always been sort of this is what we do, and that's what makes us different from everybody else. And I you haven't seen it yet, but I think the new campaign is going to be a little bit more geared towards just trying to get people engaged, keep them from changing the channel. So, let them, you want them to sit through the 30 seconds. You want them to sort of make a connection that there's something in there that when they see it again, or they see something similar, that they know that's associated with us. You see a lot of the law firms out there that have like the jingle. That used to be a big thing for a lot of law firms, was having sort of some sort of a rhyme jingle or little song.
Do you think you have any obligation to provide some sort of public service message with the advertising, or should the advertising be strictly your attempt to solicit business?
Well, we were talking about this before. I think when it comes to the marketing, it depends on what format you're doing it, because it's hard to try and press a message when you're spending a lot of money on a 30-second or a minute TV ad. But I do think that there's a responsibility for us to do things that are going to inform the public. And I think more of that comes from things we do when we're sponsoring events. When we're doing stuff with, like, we're associated with the Dolphins, when we're doing those events, it gives us a better opportunity to sort of make people informed of what's going on with the law. We try and do that through our website. We try to do that through informative videos on our site. So if you can get them on the marketing to go to your site and hopefully look through your site a little bit more, the messaging is there. The aspect of hopefully giving them information that they can use to be informative, to make a decision, is there. And I think that that's important. I'm Tom Morgan with the Morgan Law Group. I want to say thank you for listening to this podcast of Trial and Error. If you want to find out more, or you want to check out more podcasts, go to our website, policyadvocate.com, and stay tuned for more podcasts in the future.